Inside, this is a picture of a head with a person sitting inside the head with a megaphone. And here is the challenge. So I'm going to motivate what we're going to do. I'm going to try to motivate what we're going to do. I can't hear you because the opinion, my opinion of what you are saying is so loud inside my head. I can't hear you. I can't give you a good listening because my opinion of what you are saying in my own head, in the wetware, the cognitive, the whatever goes on, the verbal thinking is so loud. So there, that's a confession, right? That's an acknowledgement. And we are going to do an exercise which will give you access to listening to how you listen. You're going to listen. We're going to do an exercise. So what am I talking about? We're going to listen. I'm going to listen to my own listening. You're going to listen to your own listening. That, simply stated, is the exercise. Now, bear with me. You don't need a pencil and paper. You, interestingly enough, don't even need another person to do this. Right? You're going to do this all by yourself.
In the person inside your head.
In your own person, in your own, what we call your own head, right? I mean, and so you may actually, there may be some value. You don't need pencil and paper. You don't need to close your eyes. Some people find that may be useful. It might be useful actually to sit up, take a moment, sit up. You want to stretch? We've been at it. Stand up and take a 20-minute stretch break. Stand up. Yeah. Thank you.
Power pose?
Take a 20-minute
Power pose?
Yeah, 20-second stretch break, and we're 20 minutes and we're done. Yeah, right? But take a 20-second. I suggest you actually stand up. I would suggest that you actually stand up. Do the power pose. I mean, it's a good stretch anyway.
Wish Colleen was walking by, but
Yeah, well, we could, take a stretch.
I don't see any Superman here. Come on.
All right. Very good job. Excellent. Excellent work. Excellent work. Phase 2, we'll do some yoga.
Doing the wave. Doing the wave.
All right, you may sit down. Thank you. And so you might want to face forward, get into your own. There's an exercise. This is not that exercise, but there actually is an exercise in that renowned psychologist Konstantin Stanislavski, right, who's famous for theater. He's famous for the art of theater, but the first exercise is called public solitude. Imagine an empty stage. You are on it alone, possibly dressed in a black turtleneck sweater, or whatever.
like Steve Jobs.
Like Steve Jobs, or in your Lululemon Athletica gear.
Not like Steve
That
Jobs.
would work, too. And you are there, a single spotlight comes on. You are there, sitting on a stool, if you will, or sitting on the floor, it's okay, and a single spotlight comes on. That is called public solitude. And then, in the exercise, other stuff happens. Now, I'm not going to bang a hammer. We may actually have people coming in and out. That could happen. That's actually predictable. If we try to do something quiet, we will get, the mice or the other critters will make some banging. And that's okay. Just include that. And that's the beginning of the art of the theater. Because whatever happens, there is nothing else in the universe except what you imagine at that moment. So there's an audience out there, somebody sneezes, somebody gets up and leaves, somebody arrives late and they actually get seated, the other actor forgets his or her lines. At that point it's now improv, but don't worry about that. There's noise backstage, somebody's beeper goes off. The actor, there's nothing else in the universe but that spotlight on the stage and you in it. So this is step one. Now step two, don't worry about the spotlight for a moment. Forget about that. I'm walking down the street, ladies and gentlemen. On my way here, I had to walk across town, from the red line to get here. And I must say, this is a confession. I am ashamed of the devaluing thoughts that I have about the people that I pass on the street. I'm telling you, it is shocking. It is a scandal. I'm thinking, he's cool, she's a fool, right? I'm thinking, oh my God, how did they get like that? How did that person get to be like that? You insert what that means. That doesn't say that much about what I saw. I'm thinking, I'm having, now that's not who I authentically am, right? But these thoughts are occurring to me, like, and they're deep. I'll use neutral language. I won't use any bad language, but they're devaluing thoughts, devaluing words, and here, interesting. We'll just include the flashes and everything, and it could be being taped. That's it. Okay, since I'm taping it, why can't you? That's right. That would be amazing. So, but the point is here that I actually am not proud when I look at the thoughts that I sometimes have, frequently have. I'm not having a bad day. I'm having a great day in many ways. Thanks to you. Thank you. I thank you again because you make this possible, right? But when I am ashamed, and it's not like, here's the challenge. It's not necessarily like I could not have those thoughts. Pardon the double negative. The thoughts are going to occur. And the value comes in distinguishing them. That's not who I authentically am. Where did that thought come from? Well, we got a lot of suggestions. My family of origin, people I've known, jobs I've had, situations I've been in. It could also be a design feature of human beings. Consider the possibility.
Human nature.
Thank you, human nature. That, when we meet, so here we are on the savannah in current Tanzania, in the continent of Africa. Here we are about 1 million, somewhere between 500,000 and 2 million years ago, right? We're walking upright, we're small hominids, there are large cats and other hostile groups. Maybe a little distrust is appropriate. I'm saying it could be designed in the context of evolutionary origin, as we say, right? It could, so maybe that's where it came from. Or maybe it was from my snarky, family. But they weren't so bad. They did a pretty good job, but nevertheless. Okay, so here's the exercise. We're going to be quiet for about 30 seconds, not longer. And the request, you are requested, I request that you listen to whatever is there. You listen to your own internal conversation. Let's try, we're going to try that. And I'll tell you when to start, and I'll tell you when to end. You got it? Any questions before we begin?
Is it like meditating? We shouldn't think about anything, or should we?
I would thank you for that. It is not meditating.
Okay.
It is actually not meditating. I'm not asking you to do, and as I understand meditating, I'm not asking you to do anything.
Okay.
I'm asking you to be with whatever is there. Maybe if you call that meditating, then I'm asking you to meditate. But I'm asking you to listen. I'm asking you to listen
To our inner thoughts?
to your inner thoughts. I'm asking you to listen to the conversation you are having with yourself. Does that help answer the question? Okay. Okay, begin. Okay, thank you. That was actually 30 seconds. Any feedback? What is your feedback? What do you think happened?
I was wondering if I was hungry, and I'm not.
So you had the thought,
Yeah, it's like,
Am
can
I
you eat
hungry?
anything? I'm like, nah, good.
okay.
The voices in my head use foul language.
Use foul language. I mean, you know, what the flip is this about? What is, anybody, I'm not, any other feedback?
I have a song, The Voice Inside My Head by Peter Gabriel.
You heard a snatch a song by Peter Gabriel. Say again?
The lyrics are listening to the conversation, judge and jury in my head.
Very nice. Oh my God.
It's a very
Well,
good
I
song.
want to note this one.
It's a
Peter
good
Gabriel,
song.
Yeah.
listening to judge and jury conversation in my head. I'm
And
gonna,
here, it's about the critical inner voice.
yeah. Okay, so it's out there.
It's
But
out there.
here's anybody here like, what is he talking about? What voice? Anybody hear that?
Yeah, I was like, what did I sign up for? And
Well, that's different though. That's different.
that was about my camera
I see.
type of
Well,
duties, yeah.
you're doing a great job.
Thank you,
There's
thank
no
you.
way you can actually mess it up, and any mess ups get edited out. That's the beauty of the MacBook. Even if you mess up, it gets edited. So
That's
thank
true.
you for that. I acknowledge. We'll roll credits at the back end. If you want, I could put your name. Some people have asked to keep their name off of it. All kidding aside, anybody here like, what is he talking about? What voice? That's the voice. So it's I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether this proves anything. I suggest that it's evidence. It counts as evidence. And proof is a high bar, but we're going to go with a little anecdotal evidence today. I don't know about you, but I've had to practice to get some access to the continuous stream of judgments and evaluation. Now, so how do we listen? I mean, so take it up a level. What way can we listen? I should have done this, well, I might have done this at the beginning, but some of this was designed to feed into and motivate this exercise, right? This is also a good exercise to do at the beginning. Elizabeth, what do you think?
I think one thing to watch for is what pushes your buttons.
Yeah,
Because whatever button is pushed, there's a lot behind it.
yeah, agreed. What pushes my buttons? I mean, the list is long. You know, it's disturbingly long. And it's not like, I mean, I know what to say, and I still say it. What do you think is going on there? I know, what not to say, right? I know what's going to cause, I mean, I don't know how bad I want to be on camera, but, advice to guys, right? The one thing never to say to one's spouse. I mean, there's several, short list, but one thing on the list is, I know in my family, you're just like your mother, right? And she has a great list, she has a great relationship with my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a great relationship, but, this is like, if you want to ruin the weekend, and it's like, so funny. And I say that for a laugh, right? But I mean, it's true. There is a short list of things like that you know not to say. And by the way, it's in job interviews. I can give you an example from a job interview. Allow me, Cynthia, because this is so classic, and this is not recent. I mean, since I came here and got the coaching, I got a lot better. But I was being interviewed by an individual who had a lot of credentials. She had CPA, MBA. I lost count.
Right.
She called it out at a certain point. I knew the person. It was like networked in. I was networked in. I was a contender. And she said, I sure do have a lot of credentials after my name. And then
Oh, boy.
I said, I have only one. PhD.
Ooh.
And I paused for effect.
Drop the mic.
I
Walked
dropped
out.
the mic. I didn't get the job, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't. Now, that may not have been the only reason. And I did enjoy the moment. I enjoyed that moment after hearing a lot of stuff. But it was not I knew that I had a little light went on. The caution was the yellow was going to red, kind of blinking back and forth here.
The filter broke
And
down.
high functioning that I am.
The railroad track thing, you just
You know,
go right
it
through.
was like,
Did she come back with piled higher into her.
That would have been a wonderful moment, you know, that would have been a wonderful moment. Anyway, I think at that point, you know, you want to see like the downward spiral, smoke coming from the
Yeah.
tail.
Well, that's
Anyway.
gonna be what I'm just gonna say,
Yeah,
is
please.
that sometimes, because you were listening to reply to her because she was saying that, and the voice in your head's already saying, well, I'm gonna reply to this.
Yeah,
So you weren't really listening to her.
Absolutely.
You came out with a reply, which causes a reaction from them. And I'm gonna say, that's what people do nowadays, they don't listen to be mindful and listen. The voice in their head's already telling them, they're listening to them saying, okay, I have a rebuttal, I have a response to this. And you can see it all over social media right now. No one is listening to anyone else's opinion and respecting that. They're waiting for them to finish and get that pause so that voice in their head can speak out. Whether it's irritating, aggravating, or being compassionate, or whatever, they're listening to reply.
Perfect. I mean, that is perfect. Ways of listening.
Yeah.
I listen like I'm waiting for you to stop so I can say what I'm planning on saying. That's one way of
Exactly.
listening. Another way of listening is judging and evaluating. A fourth, fifth way of listening is like, do I know that? Do I not know that? Thank you. And so how to listen is to listen from, how to listen? To listen like, in effect, there's no categories, there's no distinctions, there's no judgments, evaluations, I know that, I don't know that. In effect, to listen from, if you will, to listen from nothing. That there would be a certain emptiness there. To listen from possibility. What would be, like I would have much rather enjoyed, if I didn't want that job, I would have much rather enjoyed turning down the offer, whatever it was, good, bad, or in between, rather than not getting called back, right, for example. That would have been smart. I could have had satisfaction, although I had a moment. It was funny too. But not at that moment. It wasn't funny to the person interviewing me. And ultimately, the only way to be authentic is to acknowledge one's inauthenticities, and heavens knows. I mean, I wouldn't want this to be, well.
But in that scenario, I mean, you could have very easily just run down the egocentric situation that you were in and said, wow, that's fantastic. And just suck up to them even though you don't care.
In effect, I mean, I think there's a certain bit of cynicism in calling it sucking, but I could have also done an honest acknowledgement and recognition that this person had some good credentials and that they had worked at it. Now, I might not have valued it in a different way than they did at that moment.
You just have to check your swing. And saying nothing can be bad too sometimes.
It can be.
I've seen that scenario yesterday.
I mean, so the default could be acknowledgement, if you will, that I see that. So anyway, I share that. And we are going to, so any other thoughts as we bring it in for a landing here? That's the exercise. And so the recommendation is, as you hear the voiceover, distinguish it. I suggest to you that you can't actually make it stop. There's no way to make it. If you work on it, you can shrink it sometimes. You can make it smaller and less forceful. You can make it less powerful. You can make it less intrusive. But it doesn't really ever completely go away. So, and that's the human design defect, if you will, that we're judging and evaluating to survive. And survive doesn't mean get the job. Survive doesn't mean flourish. To get the job, I have to contribute. I have to demonstrate I'm a contributor. That's my take on it. It's not the truth with a capital T, but consider the possibility. That's what advances me, takes the interview up a level, really gets them, we want to get this guy or man or woman down here, and maybe we need to give him an extra whatever, XYZ grand. So I wish to express my appreciation for the opportunity to do this. I think there's a lot more to be said. I'm going to hang around a while longer, and I want to give you a chance to, any final thoughts? You got to fill out the evaluation, ladies and gentlemen. You got to. You got to do something with that. It's going to be anonymous. Roger, would you collect them
Yes.
and give them to Colleen? It should be anonymous. I'm not giving out any grades, obviously.
It says to give to Laura.
Thank you. Okay, that's perfect. She's at the front desk. You give it at the front desk. I don't need to see it. we're friends, whatever you say. I love you, ma'am, in the
Thanks, Lou.
proper spiritual sense.
thank you.
Thank you.